Hey everyone, it's BlueLizardJello and welcome back to the Surge walkthrough. Last time we just began our adventure in Central Production B. We met up with a couple of NPCs who are actually sitting right behind me, and we have a few more that we need to find here in Central Production B before we tackle the next boss. But before we actually go out into that wide world, let us actually talk to these NPCs and see what they have to tell us, because one of them has a little quest for us.
We made it, buddy. Good to see you. And don't think I forgot I owe you. Found this. Here, take it. Might help.
You can see that just by talking to Dean Hobbs when he's back here in operations, you get a number of Mark II resources. So if you haven't already begun to upgrade your gear, now would be a great time.
You met Davey?
Oh yeah. Can't say I care for him much. Wanted me to fetch him his meds. Of course I said no. Man, was he pissed. He's crazier than I thought if he thinks I'm going out there again.
Any trouble getting here?
Nah, it was right around the corner and I kept my head down. Worst has got to be over now.
Take care, Hobbs.
You bet I will. Don't do nothing I wouldn't.
So Dean actually has the reward for you just as soon as he gets back to operations. Davey, on the other hand, this is going to take a little bit longer.
I'm so glad to see you, man. I ain't feeling right. Not right at all. I need my meds. Bad. It's been hours, man. I can't make it without them.
What meds do you need?
It's an implant. Called Modaxinol. I will die without it, man. Last time I went out... Well, you know what happened. Seriously, I'm in bad shape.
I'll try to find it for you.
You don't know how much I'd appreciate that. Seriously. Thanks. I know it's asking a lot. I mean, who wants to go out there, right? But please. I don't want to get sick.
How are you and Hobbs getting along?
Oh, I don't know. He didn't want to help me. Totally wrapped up in himself. I mean, if it was him who needed his meds, I mean, it's not like I'm being overdramatic here, you know?
Have to go.
Hey, don't forget about me, okay? I'm counting on you here.
So we are looking for Modaxinol, which is actually going to be an implant, but we can't get it anytime soon. In fact, it's going to be in another area completely where we find his Modaxinol, but we will find it and we will return it to him. One last thing before we actually head out, and that is we do have some tech scrap to spend, and I want to actually take a look at the gear assembly to see what we can upgrade. So first things first, we will use whatever tech scraps we have laying around. In fact, we have quite a few at this point. Next, we will actually stop by the gear assembly because if you take a look, we actually have Mark III gear. Now, it's not going to be enough to upgrade anything, but by killing the security personnel in the last episode, we did get the cortical processor and the force regulator Mark III. So let's go to the gear assembly and have everything broken down. There we go. And now we can take a look at the upgrade panel, go to equipped, and let's see if we can upgrade any of our armor. We can't upgrade the arm. Looks like we can upgrade our chest piece, as well as our head, and it looks like we can do one of our legs. So this is actually going to be a decent little upgrade for us. We'll go from 9 to 13 defense in the chest. We'll go from 5 to 6 on the headpiece, and then we'll go from 8 to 11 on one of the legs. Perfect. And there we go. And of course, we've already upgraded all of our weapons to Mark II, with the exception of the new staff that we got the other day, which was the MG Negotiator. Now, one thing to take notice of, I did mention that you can actually upgrade as high as the resources that you have would allow. In other words, you can skip Mark I and go straight to Mark II. In doing so, it actually ends up costing quite a bit more. So if I look at the Negotiator, to go right now from the standard form up to Mark I would cost me 741 tech scrap. If I bump it up immediately to Mark II, it will cost 6,835. But if I do step by step, so for example, if I go from base to Mark I, and then I go from Mark I to Mark II, it is only an additional 2,966. So it actually does benefit you to go stepwise instead of jumping to the higher ones. But if you have enough scrap laying around, it really doesn't make that big of a difference. But just so we have everything upgraded, let's go ahead and get that to Mark II. And then lastly, whatever we have left in tech scrap, we will rest. We'll get 1 core power there, bank the rest, and now it is finally time to get back out there into this wide open, dangerous world. Now, while we are out here, I do want to start focus on getting some cuts again because I do want to get more Mark II gear so we can continue to upgrade. Definitely will help to keep us alive in this area. Not to mention, as I said very early on, the more cuts you get, the better. It doesn't really make a difference if you're killing things if you're not actually getting the cuts. Yes, of course, you are getting the tech scrap, but you're not going to be able to upgrade as often as you might like. And, as I've mentioned also, in this game, gear is key. If you're not upgrading your gear, you're really going to be dead in the water pretty quickly. Now from here, I know we've already been here before, but it's always a good idea. Take care of this guy because he is going to come and attack. And have him ricochet, perfect. No need to go up there for the robo dogs since we've already killed them and gotten their implants. Oh, big hit, big hit. All right. Shit. Back up. There we go, get the cut. Get some iframes going. Oh, he still took a big nasty hit here. That is unfortunate. We're gonna have to start focusing on using our metavoltaic here in a little bit. Which, unfortunately, I just realized we don't even have on us. Tell you what. We, unfortunately, need to go and make a quick pit stop back at the med station. I'll be right back. I just want to swap in the metavoltaic injection. Otherwise, we're going to run out of healing very quickly. So I'll be back once I switch out the implants. I'll show you exactly which ones I'm using, and then we'll push forward.
Do you require assistance, Warren?
All right, we are back. All the enemies in this immediate area are dead. Let's take a quick look at the implants that I have because I did actually swap out a few because I had been changing them up in order to fight the security. But I have the Vital Boost V3 for the added health. Aggression Amplifier, so I get health restored on finishing moves. The Mechanized Counterweight V2, this is the one that we picked up in that upper section with the Robo Dogs. Medical Audit, so I can see the health. Metavoltaic Injection, so I can convert energy to health. And then lastly, I have my normal Vital Injection V1. There we go. All right. So now we're finally going to be getting into some new territory. Now, I'm using the Titan. The only problem is I am noticing that it is killing enemies much too fast. So while this is going to be really good for killing, I think I'm going to actually have to swap it out. I'm going to have to put it away in order to do so for something a little bit lighter. In fact, you know what? I think I'll play around with the Negotiator and the Yosuke Butterflies. So let's actually take the favorite off of that. By the way, the other day, I did actually mention that you can swap between items, but I only said that you could do two. In fact, if you really want, you can favorite every weapon in the game and cycle through them just by using left on the directional pad. Obviously, this doesn't really benefit you that much because there are just so many weapons, you're going to be cycling through for a while before you realize which one you want. All right, you can see this gentleman here with the butterflies. Let me get my staff out. And we'll start working on some damage. Wow, this is actually doing quite a bit of damage itself. Seems like the butterflies might actually be the right choice if I want to continue to get cuts. Now, a really interesting note about the enemy further on. He is using a Titan, but he is aiming it at us as if it is a gun, and in fact, it is going to function just like one. Let's go back here and grab this tungsten alloy, just some Mark 1, but as soon as we step out, he is going to begin firing at us. He is going to begin firing at us. All right, let's move to the next storage container. Once again, do it again. There we go. So he'll fire in rounds of 3, but he is using the Titan. Let me show you what happens if we go and try to use that machine. Well, after I get him to fire again, and then get him to start attacking us. Back up. Oh, all right. That's all right. We will just go ahead and get a finishing move, hopefully. We didn't. That's a shame. It's all right. I'm not going to heal just yet. But you can see he was actually standing in front of this machine in order to fire at us. He was hooking up the Titan, and that is what was giving it the ability to shoot. Now, if we take a look, and this is one of my favorite small details in this game, if we take a look at the Titan and we read the description, it actually mentions that this is 2 tools in 1. The Titan combines an industrial rivet gun with a high-torque super industrial wrench, providing Creo employees with the perfect tool for rocket manifold maintenance. Due to the inherent danger, the rivet function is restricted to an internal database of approved workers. In other words, in order to use this as a rivet gun, we have to have the appropriate clearance, which Warren does not. So if I were to actually use the Titan and approach this machine, it doesn't do anything. But they actually give you a story reason as to why that is, and I just think that was a very, very nice touch. Good on Deck 13 for thinking about that. All right, another Titan-wielding enemy right here. You can see it looks like he's actually working on a rocket manifold, which is, again, nice little touch there. Back up. And, oh, no energy, or not enough energy for the cut. And we are starting to hurt. So I will just do one of the big injections for now. Quickly. Get the extra 10% health. Perfect. Now already in this zone, we are going to start getting some options as far as where to go. But I'm going to show you which way I prefer. And then, of course, you can make up your own mind as to which way you think is best. So grabbing that tech scrap there, if we want to head down the main staircase, you can see we do have an enemy there with a Titan, but overlooking him is another enemy with the Titan, and he is attached to the Rivet machine. So if we approach him from the staircase, we are going to be fired upon as we fight the other enemy. Nice view of some security personnel in there. It's going to be a while before we go and attack him. Also, take note of that case right there. Take note of that case. Again, going to be a little while before we get in there, but it is something we are going to want to pay close attention to when we can. But in order to deal with the enemy that has the rivet, we can just actually walk behind here, walk behind this rocket that the other enemy was working on, and then slowly drop onto this catwalk. And in doing so, it actually positions us right behind this enemy here. And if we're careful and we're quiet, we should be able to get right up, drop him relatively quickly. I was trying to say we could drop him relatively quickly, not we could drop relatively quickly, but I'll be back in a moment. Well, you may notice coming up here in just a second that unfortunately I did actually have a death on the way back, which means I did lose my scrap, but hey, that is all right. We can get that back very, very quickly. But from here, I am going to go right back and try the same thing again, this time with much less falling to my death. There we go. All right, perfect. And, all right, you are going to make your way here. I actually thought maybe I could fight you down below. In fact, I still think that's what I want to do, so if you wouldn't mind following me down here. Please. There we go. Please and thank you. Right. Go for the leg. Now, I am using the staff, which is proving to be very difficult in order to actually get the cuts here. Yeah, everything's just dying too quickly. But sometimes going through the box is not the best way, because if you do keep walking forward, yes, you'll drop down, but not exactly where we want to go just at the moment. We'll be heading there momentarily. But again, like I said, you have options. We can go directly in here. We can go straight ahead. We're going to be fighting some new robot type enemies soon. But what I like to do instead is actually to go back up where we just dropped down in order to fight that one Titan enemy, because we do have a couple of options. Now, if we go this way, I'm going to run down here. There are 2 enemies and there is a single item, but this is actually going to be a way back once we get further in the game. But just to give you an idea of where this will spit you out. Come on, lunge at me again. There we are. You are dead thanks to the recoil. And all right, I'm just gonna target your unarmored arm here. Ooh, careful. Just dash in and dash out if you have to. It's definitely the safest option. Use our metavoltaic. No? I guess we're just shy of the mark. That's okay. Oh, and I'm sorry, I said that we had 2 enemies. We actually do have 3 here. And once again, still just shy. We have this conduit here. It's going to take 60 power to get. Not a big deal. We can get there momentarily. Oh, and there are actually 4 enemies. Wow. Well, I just did a terrible job counting then. Knock you down to your feet. Very, very quick kill. Still just heading further down. Again, there's nothing down here for us yet other than this item, which this is actually a new drone module. This is the concussive module. Now, this is not a bad module. I still think I prefer the infrared blaster, but the concussive module, which you can change on the fly, you don't have to actually go back to the med station to do that. This is going to knock enemies down. Now, it does take the same amount of energy, but when you use this, it will actually target whatever enemy you're targeting, and it'll knock them down in most cases. It doesn't work on some of the larger enemies, of course. But the reason I like the blaster better is because the blaster can work with 0 energy. The concussive module cannot. There are certainly some uses for it, but just keep in mind, you do have to save up that energy in order to use that. Here's just another vital injection. Now, this is the door that later on we'll be opening and be able to have a massive, massive shortcut. But for now, let's just head back topside. Head back to some of the areas where we have some options. Once we get to the top of the staircase, we're going to continue on, and that bridge right there that does have the item in the middle, that is going to provide a nice shortcut. And in fact, that is going to be a great location to remember because it connects several different locations here. But in the conveyor hub, if we keep pushing forward, we actually do have access. And you can already hear her now, to our next NPC. And she's actually right down here on this landing waiting for us.
Hey. You're actually normal. For a moment, I thought you were one of these psychos. Already ran into a dozen or so of them today. Guess I've always attracted the wrong type of guy.
You're searching for something?
Look at Mr. Inquisitive. Just trying to find something that would help me stay alive a bit longer. A good staff, like yours. On the off chance someone needs a good beating.
So at this point, she is looking for a staff. This is Irina Beckett. Now, we actually already have 2 staffs in our possession. We have the one that we got in the very first area before PAX, and then we also have what we're holding now, the MG Negotiator. There are certain ones that she will accept. There are certain ones that she will not. It all depends on what you're willing to give up. If you don't actually give her a staff, then unfortunately her quest line will end. So at this point, it is up to you if you want to give her the Negotiator. In fact, in this time,
Actually,
I think I will.
I think I have what you need.
Usually saying that is a prelude to disappointment. But hey, I'm game. So, let's see what you've got.
Now, right now, it's telling me that I can give her the reinforced pipe. It's not listing the Negotiator, and I think that's actually because I have it equipped. But I'll test that out in just a moment. But watch what happens if you try and give her a reinforced pipe.
What about this pipe? Good enough?
Hardly. I just hope that wasn't your full arsenal. Don't want you to get hurt.
So she doesn't think the reinforced pipe is good enough because it looks like she's already using something very similar. So for now, we don't have anything for her.
Okay, maybe I promised too much. Sorry to let you down.
I'm sure we've both been disappointed before.
So, care to tell me who you are?
You think I just hand out my number to any guy who comes along? Sorry, couldn't resist it. I'm Irina. Trained engineer and, apparently, born survivor.
Got any idea what's going on here?
Yeah, this company finally managed to burn the final vestiges of humanity out of us. Guess we're the lucky ones, though. Didn't drop dead. Haven't blown a fuse. At least not yet.
So what's with the staff and everything?
I could ask you the same question. I guess sitting things out is just not our way. I never liked those smelter bots. Always kept an eye on them, even before this shit went down. It's time to push their damn emergency stop and scrap them for good.
Better get going now.
And just as I was getting to know you.
Alright, now that we've exhausted her dialogue, let us switch out the Negotiator for something else. We will actually, tell you what, why don't we drop on the reinforced pipe? We'll switch between that and the Yosuke butterfly, and let's try talking to her again.
Hey, shouldn't you be searching a staff for me?
What if I told you I have what you need?
Usually saying that so.
And yes, okay, so that was the case. If you actually have the staff equipped, it won't give you the option to give it to her. But now that I've unequipped the negotiator...
Well, this one comes with best regards from Creo's security.
A striking argument in each negotiation. Boy, oh boy, you make me happy. I owe you. It's nice to know chivalry isn't dead.
Better get going now.
And just as I was getting to know you.
She'll actually equip it right now. Now, if you haven't gotten the negotiator, and if you haven't gotten any of the Gorgon armor set, you can continue on down these stairs and try your luck at getting it with the security cards down here. There is also another staff called the Biomaster that we can get after the boss in this zone, and she will accept that as well. But if we head down here, you can see 2 more security guards. Once again, just like the last ones, they are not too concerned as long as we don't try and attack them, but we do want their gear. Now, this one has the leg that we need. It also has the chest piece that we need. This one has the legs, not the chest piece, so we would be better off getting the chest off of this gentleman on the left and the legs on the gentleman on the right. This might take an attempt or two, so possibly I'll see you in just a little bit. In fact, I may even bring out the big guns here to see what kind of damage we can do in one shot. Here goes nothing. Oh, they have a lot of health. I wonder if these guys have more health than the last ones I fought. It seemed like one of them died for some reason, and I honestly have no idea why. Quickly get the cut. Alright, so we should get the chest piece off of this one, but I have no idea what happened to the other security. There we go. We got the chest piece from him, and unfortunately you just dropped some scrap. I will have to go back and watch the footage. Well, that is unfortunate. We will be able to get the rest of the armor later, but for now, we're a little bit stuck. That is quite the shame. Anyway, we've given a staff to Irina. We've killed the other 2 security guards. We got 3 out of the 4 Gorgon armor set. At this point, we are actually going to be heading back to the med station, using this little shortcut coming up here. Grabbing this metal scrap and what is going to burst through this door here in just a moment. Nothing we haven't dealt with before. Perfect. Being very, very cautious. Heading through the door that he actually just burst for us. We can take this exolift. And as soon as we open this door, you are probably going to recognize where we are. Heading just inside here into personnel arrival, we now have a very handy shortcut directly back, directly back to the med station, and we can get back to the area where Irina is, which, as I said, is a very convenient point in the middle of the level. It'll branch off into numerous areas that we want to head to. Oh, I'm very disappointed in not getting that other Gorgon gear. I don't know what happened. That's very, very peculiar. Anyway, let's see if we can upgrade anything else. All right. Doesn't look like we've actually been getting the chest pieces, which is a bit of a shame. And, am I in upgrade? Yeah, it doesn't look like we can actually upgrade anything at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. But we do have some scraps, so let's go ahead and drop that off. We'll level up a little bit, go up to 30, bank the rest, and that is going to do it. Now, I know we didn't push too much further into Central Production B, but we did kill the other 2 security personnel. We talked to Irina and gave her a staff, and then next time we'll begin exploring this place in earnest. There's still one more NPC, and she can be really easy to miss, so you're going to want to pay attention to audio cues coming up here very soon. But that is going to do it for this episode of the Surge walkthrough. Hope it is helpful to you, and hope you are learning a little something. And if you are, please drop me a comment below and let me know what you have learned. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.